Ever feel like you're staring down a problem so huge it just seems to swallow all your hope? Does the ground feel like it's crumbling under you with every scary news headline, every personal setback, or just those nagging whispers of doubt? What if the secret to not just surviving these overwhelming moments, but actually conquering them, was simpler yet deeper than you've ever imagined? For over 60 years, one voice echoed around the world, offering comfort and strength to millions: Billy Graham. His name just speaks of unshakable faith and incredible spiritual insight. But he wasn't only a preacher, he was a guide through life's roughest storms, a voice that always pointed toward a hope that truly anchors the soul. In a world that often feels chaotic and unpredictable, his messages about faith, resilience, and overcoming adversity aren't just timeless, they feel more urgent than ever. Today, we're not just taking a history lesson. We're getting to the heart of Billy Graham's motivational power. We're going to explore what we're calling his top motivation faith secrets. These are the core principles he championed, ideas designed to equip you right now to face your giants and conquer your deepest fears. You're about to find more than just abstract ideas. You'll get real, actionable wisdom that can change how you see your challenges and, more importantly, how you beat them. This isn't about quick fixes or a temporary burst of inspiration. It's about building an unshakable core of faith that can stand up to anything life throws your way. Get ready to find strength, resilience, and a fresh sense of purpose as we unpack the powerful legacy of Billy Graham's teachings on overcoming life's biggest struggles. This is a journey into the heart of faith, a journey towards victory. Secret 1, the unshakable power of absolute faith. Our first secret, and honestly it's probably the foundation of everything Billy Graham taught, is the unshakable power of absolute faith. Now, when we say faith, it's easy to picture it as just a passive belief, like a mental thumbs up to a higher power. But for Billy Graham, faith was way more dynamic, much more powerful. He didn't just see faith as belief, but as complete confidence and a total surrender and commitment to God. This wasn't some blind leap in the dark. It was a conscious, deliberate choice to trust in someone infinitely greater than ourselves and our problems. Think about what you're up against right now. Maybe it's a health issue that makes you feel vulnerable and scared. Perhaps it's a financial storm brewing that threatens your security, your future. Or it could be a broken relationship that's left your heart aching and confused. In moments like these, fear is totally natural. It whispers doubts, makes obstacles look bigger than they are, and can paralyze us. Billy Graham got this. He often said fear can banish faith, but faith can banish fear. That's a powerful truth, isn't it? Faith, when it's active and committed, is the direct antidote to the poison of fear and discouragement. It's the force that lets us step out boldly, even when we can't see the path ahead clearly. So, how does this kind of faith look in practice? Graham used a simple but strong analogy: trusting a platform to hold him. When you step onto a platform, you don't usually ask to see the engineering plans or run a bunch of tests on it. You just trust it'll support you. That, he explained, is like faith. Relying on God's promises without needing all the proof up front, without having to see every single step of the solution. It's about choosing to believe that the God who created the universe is also deeply involved in the details of your life and has the power to see you through. This kind of faith isn't about sticking your head in the sand and denying reality. It's not pretending problems don't exist. Instead, it's about looking at those problems through a different lens, the lens of God's sovereignty and love. It means that even when things look terrible, even when logic is screaming, you're defeated, there's an underlying trust that God is still in control and working for your ultimate good. This doesn't mean life will suddenly be easy or that you won't have hardships. In fact, Graham was clear that Christians who are strong in their faith grow as they accept whatever God allows to enter their lives. There's a real acceptance in that, a willingness to trust God's purpose even in the painful stuff. So, the first secret is to work on building this absolute faith. It starts with a decision, a conscious choice to put your confidence in God above your circumstances. You nurture it through prayer, by soaking in words of promise and hope, and by remembering times God has been faithful in your own life and in others. When fear comes knocking, and it will, this deep-seated faith is what allows you to open the door with courage, knowing that the one who holds the universe also holds you. It's understanding that faith isn't the absence of questions, but the solid belief that there are answers, even if you can't see them right away. This faith isn't a fragile wish, it's a strong confidence, a steady assurance that empowers you to face whatever comes your way, not with your own limited strength, but with God's limitless power. It's the basic understanding that your victory over challenges starts not with a change in your situation, but with a change in where you place your deepest trust. Secret 2, reframing adversity as a catalyst for growth. The second powerful secret we can learn from Billy Graham's teachings is the incredible ability to reframe adversity. In a world that naturally pulls away from pain and hardship, Graham offered a different viewpoint. Suffering, when seen through the eyes of faith, isn't just something to get through, but a real chance for major spiritual growth. He didn't ignore the reality of suffering. He knew it was part of being human, but he always pointed beyond the immediate pain to a greater purpose. He once said, "To suffer for the faith is not a penalty, it is a privilege." That statement alone is pretty revolutionary, right? It challenges our natural urge to see hardship as a sign of failure, or that we've been abandoned, or just plain bad luck. Think about the trials you faced, or maybe one you're in right now. Losing someone you love, a setback in your career, a chronic illness, a time of deep loneliness. These things are undeniably painful. They can leave us feeling broken, questioning our purpose, and wondering where on earth God is in all of it. Graham's message throws a lifeline in these dark times. He taught that these very trials, the ones we'd never pick for ourselves, can actually be the soil where our faith grows deeper, our character gets refined, and our reliance on God becomes absolute. One of his most comforting reassurances was, "The will of God will never take us where the grace of God cannot sustain us." This isn't a promise of a life without troubles, but it is a promise of God's complete sufficiency right in the middle of it. It suggests that every challenge we face comes with God's grace, a divine enabling to not just survive it, but to grow through it. When we hit adversity, our first instinct might be to ask, "Why me?" Graham's teachings nudge us to shift our question. What can I learn from this? How can this pull me closer to God? How can this experience shape me into someone stronger, more compassionate, more resilient? Consider a blacksmith forging steel. The metal goes through intense heat and gets hammered repeatedly. It's a tough, uncomfortable process. But it's exactly through this process that the steel is purified, strengthened, and shaped into something useful and strong. Graham saw suffering kind of like that, as a refining fire. It burns away the superficial stuff, the impurities in our lives, and reveals the true strength of our faith. It forces us to face our weaknesses and to lean more completely on God. The Bible itself talks about perseverance building character, and character leading to hope. This reframing of adversity doesn't mean we should go looking for suffering or pretend it doesn't hurt. Pain is real, and grief is a valid response to loss. What it does mean is that even in the darkest valleys, we can hang on to the hope that God is at work, using these experiences for our ultimate good and His glory. It's about understanding that setbacks can actually be setups for comebacks. Failures can become stepping stones to future success if we let God teach us through them. This perspective totally changes how we approach challenges. Instead of being defined by our adversities, we can be refined by them. Instead of letting them crush our spirit, we can let them cultivate a deeper dependence on God and a greater ability to empathize with others who are suffering. It's about choosing to see God's hand even when circumstances are confusing and painful. This doesn't happen overnight. It's a continuous process of surrendering our own understanding, trusting His unseen plan, and believing that He can bring beauty from ashes. So, the second secret is to consciously adopt this divine perspective on adversity, to look for God's purpose in the pain, and to trust that He's using every trial not to break you, but to build you. Secret 3, anchoring your self-worth in divine design. The third crucial secret from Billy Graham's motivational toolkit is all about anchoring your self-worth, not in what other people think or what you achieve in the world. Those things are like shifting sand. Instead, anchor it in the unchanging truth of your divine design. In an age totally obsessed with external validation, likes on social media, job titles, material stuff, what our peers think, this message is more relevant than ever. Graham consistently talked about the built-in value of every single person, a value that comes from the amazing reality that each of us is fearfully and wonderfully made by God, just like it says in Psalm 139:14. So much of our anxiety and insecurity comes from looking for worth in the wrong places. We strive, we perform, we compare, and often we end up feeling like we're just not measuring up. We might ask ourselves, am I good enough? Successful enough? Am I liked enough? Graham spoke directly to this very human struggle. He warned about the danger of living for other people's approval or trying to twist ourselves into societal molds, basically sacrificing who we truly are just to please others. His advice was clear. Find your worth by finding out who God is and by understanding who He made you to be. He powerfully stated, you will never understand who you are until you understand who God is. That flips the script entirely, doesn't it? Our value isn't based on our accomplishments, our failures, how we look, or what others think of us. It's inherent, given to us by our Creator. This understanding is incredibly freeing. It gets us off that exhausting treadmill of constantly needing someone else to tell us we're okay. When your worth is anchored in God's unchanging love and His eternal purpose for your life, other people's opinions lose their power to define you. Criticism might still sting a bit, but it won't crush who you are at your core. Praise might be nice to hear, but it won't puff up your ego to an unhealthy level. You're free to live authentically, to embrace the unique calling and gifts God has given you without constantly fearing judgment or rejection. Think about the pressures you face to conform, to live up to certain expectations, whether they come from family, society, or even from yourself. Billy Graham encouraged people to reject that tyranny of self-doubt and people-pleasing. Instead, he called for a confident embrace of the person God designed you to be. This isn't about being arrogant. It's about a quiet confidence that comes from knowing you are loved, valued, and have a unique purpose, no matter your worldly successes or failures. This divine affirmation allows you to face challenges with a different kind of resilience. When setbacks happen, they don't have to be an attack on your worth. Failing at a task doesn't make you a failure. Being rejected in one area doesn't mean you are universally rejected or worthless. Plus, understanding your divine worth empowers you to take risks, to go after your God-given passions, and to step out in faith, even if it means going against the popular opinion. When you know you are deeply and unconditionally loved by the Creator of the universe, you're far less likely to be paralyzed by the fear of what others might think. You can operate from a place of security, not from a place of desperately trying to earn acceptance. This leads to greater creativity, bolder decisions, and a more profound impact on the world around you. Putting this secret into practice means consciously working to internalize this truth. It means regularly reminding yourself of God's love and your inherent value in His eyes. It means filtering what others say and do through this lens of divine affirmation. When you feel your self-worth starting to get tied to your performance or others' opinions, you consciously pull it back to its true anchor, your identity as a cherished creation of God. This doesn't mean you stop trying to do your best or ignore constructive criticism, but it changes your motivation. You strive not to earn worth, but to express the worth that's already inside you. This fundamental shift is a game changer in overcoming life's challenges, because it ensures that no matter what storms rage outside, your core sense of self stays secure and intact, held firm by the unchanging love of your Creator. Secret 4, the strength in setting godly boundaries. The fourth vital secret from Billy Graham's teachings, and one that really speaks to our often overwhelmed modern lives, is the necessity and strength found in setting godly boundaries. There's this common idea that being a person of faith, especially a kind and compassionate one, means you have to be endlessly available, say yes to everything, and basically sacrifice your own well-being for everyone else's needs. Graham challenged this idea directly and powerfully. He argued that true kindness and service aren't rooted in having no boundaries, but in strength, wisdom, and the courage to protect what God has given us. He used a really vivid metaphor comparing our lives to a vineyard given by God. He asked, if you let everyone trample through it, how can you expect it to flourish? Boundaries are not walls, they are fences to protect the harvest God has entrusted to you. That imagery is strong, isn't it? Our time, our energy, our emotional reserves, our spiritual peace, and our unique purpose, they're all part of that precious vineyard. Without those protective fences, these resources can get depleted, trampled, and ultimately won't produce much. So, boundaries, seen this way, aren't selfish acts, they're acts of responsible stewardship. Many people really struggle with setting boundaries because they're afraid of being seen as unkind, unhelpful, or even unchristian. They think saying no to a request is the same as personally rejecting the person asking. Billy Graham's teachings help take apart that false guilt. He taught that saying no to demands that drain your spirit, distract you from your God-given purpose, or compromise your well-being isn't selfish at all. In fact, it can be an affirmation of the value God places on your life and the specific mission He has for you. It's about recognizing that you can't give what you don't have. If your own vineyard is barren because you've let it get overrun, you won't have much to offer anyone else. Graham even pointed to biblical teachings to back this up, like Matthew 7:6, which advises, do not give dogs what is holy, and do not throw your pearls before pigs. Now, that sounds a bit harsh, but the principle underneath is about discernment and being responsible with sacred or precious things, which includes your time, energy, and focus. It means realizing that not every demand is a divine assignment and not every open door is one you're supposed to walk through. Think about what this means day to day. It might mean saying no to an extra commitment when your plate is already full, even if it's a good thing. It might mean limiting contact with people who constantly drain your emotional energy or don't respect your values. It could involve setting aside non-negotiable time for rest, prayer, and connecting with God and family, and then fiercely protecting that time from interruptions. This isn't about becoming isolated or unloving. It's about creating the healthy space you need to flourish spiritually, emotionally, and mentally, so that when you do give, you're giving from a place of fullness, not from an empty tank. Billy Graham also pointed out that Jesus himself set boundaries. He often withdrew from the crowds to pray and rest, even when the demands on him were huge. He didn't try to meet everyone's expectations or please every group. He stayed focused on his Father's will. That's a powerful model. If Jesus in his perfect love and compassion saw the need for boundaries, how much more do we? Living this out takes courage and conviction. It means being willing to disappoint some people in the short term to honor God's long-term purpose for your life. It means understanding that your main responsibility is to God, and that true service flows from a life that's well-tended and lined up with His priorities. Setting godly boundaries, therefore, isn't a sign of weakness or selfishness, but a profound act of faith and wisdom. It's an essential strategy for protecting your peace, preserving your energy, and making sure you can effectively fulfill the unique calling God has placed on your life. It's a secret to sustainable strength and lasting fruitfulness when facing life's relentless demands. Secret 5. Living a life of purpose through prioritization. The fifth and final secret we uncover from Billy Graham's life and teachings is the huge impact of living a life of purpose, and that's achieved through consciously and consistently prioritizing. It's one thing to have faith, to reframe hard times, to know your worth, and to set boundaries. It's another to intentionally steer your life's energy towards what truly matters from an eternal perspective. Near the end of his life, Billy Graham shared some reflections that really highlighted this, offering wisdom not just from his sermons, but from his own experiences and even his regrets. He stressed how critical it is to invest deeply in what has lasting value. Specifically, he pointed to 3 key areas: spending more time in God's Word to grow in faith and wisdom, investing in community and building strong connections with other believers, and cherishing family moments by prioritizing the relationships that matter most. These aren't brand new ideas in themselves, but coming from a man who lived such a globally impactful life, they carry a lot of weight. They're a powerful reminder that in the middle of all the busyness of ministry or career, or chasing any ambition, the foundational things, faith, community, and family, have to stay at the top of the list. This secret is all about being intentional. Life throws a constant stream of demands, opportunities, and distractions at us. Without a clear set of God-centered priorities, it's so easy to just drift, to get swallowed up by what feels urgent instead of what's truly important, and then to reach the end of a season, or even life itself, with regret for misspent time and energy. Graham acknowledged his own human weaknesses and the need for discernment in choosing how to spend our limited resources. This just reinforces the message that clear priorities are essential for a meaningful life without regrets. So, how does this help in overcoming life's challenges? Well, when your life is anchored by clear, God-ordained priorities, making decisions becomes simpler, especially when you're at a crisis point or a crossroads. If your top priority is your relationship with God, then seeking His guidance through prayer and His Word will be your first move when facing a challenge, not your last. If family is a key priority, then decisions about your career or other commitments will be weighed against how they impact your loved one. If spiritual community is vital, then in times of struggle, you'll naturally turn to your fellow believers for support and encouragement instead of trying to tough it out alone. Living a life of purpose through prioritization also gives you a powerful filter for opportunities and demands. Not every good opportunity is a God opportunity for you. Not every request, no matter how noble it sounds, lines up with the specific path He has for you. Having clear priorities, ones that come from your understanding of God's Word and His unique calling on your life, lets you say yes to the things that truly matter and no to those that, while maybe good, would pull you away from your main assignment. This is directly linked to that previous secret of setting boundaries. Your priorities actually shape your boundaries. Furthermore, a life lived with clear, eternal priorities offers deep resilience. When challenges pop up, and they always do, they're less likely to completely throw you off course if you're already on a firmly set path. If your ultimate purpose is to honor God and do His will, then even big setbacks can be seen as detours or refining moments within that larger, unwavering purpose, rather than something that totally invalidates your life's direction. You're not just reacting to circumstances, you're proactively living out a divinely inspired agenda. This secret calls for regular self-reflection and realignment. It means asking ourselves, are my daily activities reflecting my deepest held values and God's priorities for me? Am I investing my best energy in things that will last for eternity, or am I consumed by what's temporary? It's about making conscious choices day by day to line up our actions with what we say we believe. Billy Graham's later reflections serve as a really poignant call to all of us. Don't wait until the end of your life to realize what truly matters. Start today. Figure out your God-given priorities and then courageously and consistently build your life around them. This is a pathway not only to a life of deeper meaning and impact, but also to a profound sense of stability and direction when navigating the inevitable challenges of our journey here on earth. So today, we've walked through 5 foundational secrets from the incredible life and ministry of Billy Graham. Timeless principles designed to give us the motivation and faith we need to overcome life's challenges. First, we embrace the unshakable power of absolute faith, seeing faith as complete confidence and surrender to God, the ultimate weapon against fear. Second, we learned about reframing adversity as a catalyst for growth, viewing trials not just as penalties, but as chances for spiritual development, all sustained by God's grace. Third, we discovered the importance of anchoring your self-worth in divine design, knowing our true value comes from being fearfully and wonderfully made by God, freeing us from chasing external approval. Fourth, we explored the strength in setting godly boundaries, understanding that protecting our peace and purpose is wise stewardship, not selfishness, helping us to flourish. And fifth, we understood the call to living a life of purpose through prioritization, intentionally investing in faith, community, and family, lining up our lives with God's eternal values so we can live without regret. These aren't just nice ideas, they're a real roadmap to a resilient and victorious life. Billy Graham's legacy is one of unwavering hope, a powerful example of a life lived with deep conviction in these truths. His message still echoes today. You are not alone in your struggles. There is a strength greater than your challenges, a peace that goes beyond understanding, and a purpose that can guide you through any storm. The God he talked about is a God who specializes in the impossible, who offers grace that's sufficient for every trial, and whose love is the ultimate foundation for a fearless life. So, how will you start applying these secrets in your own life, starting today? Which of these principles really hits home for you with the challenges you're facing right now? We really encourage you to think about that. Don't let this just be information. Let it spark a real transformation. If this message has encouraged you, please give this video a thumbs up. Subscribe for more content that aims to inspire and equip you. And we'd love to hear from you in the comments below. Which of Billy Graham's faith secrets are you going to focus on putting into practice this week? Share your thoughts and experiences so we can all learn and grow together. Remember, overcoming life's challenges isn't a sprint, but a journey of faith taken one step at a time.